Hi everybody, welcome back to Dave's World. I really appreciate all the support everyone gives me. I want to let all of my Jetta subscribers know that I go out of my way to make content for everybody. When I started the YouTube channel, the footage I put out was footage that I wasn't sure if it was going to be good or not, or anybody even cared. And the feedback I got was really good. My first 2 or 3 videos weren't the best, but since then I try my hardest to bring content that I think you guys like. Based on what you guys are saying, I've been trying to do the videos the way you want. It truly is done in a way that you want to see. So along the way, I've been posting some of the things that were difficult about doing the KO4 swap and some things that were easy about doing the KO4 swap. Obviously the difficult things are what you want to see, because what are you going to get stuck on when you do your own car? Along the way, I've mentioned that I don't want anybody using an aftermarket header. It's actually better to use a cast iron factory one. The reason being is the turbo bolts just come loose. It's a problem I was having that I didn't know was a problem on the Jetta. I didn't know it was a common thing. And later on, after I finished the car, I discovered it was a problem because I had to tighten the bolts up about 1,000 times on the car. Now I drove this car probably 300 miles, sometimes at 2 hours a clip, because I was finishing it for my friend Paul. I've known Paul for like 20 years, and he's a very busy guy, and I didn't want to bring him a car that was going to give him a problem. He just doesn't have the time to fix it, let alone even put bolts in on a turbo. So I went crazy making sure the car was going to be fine. And the day he brings it home, the bolts came out of the turbo again for probably the 5th time. But from the time I last had a problem to the time I gave him the car, it was about 100 miles. And I didn't think he was going to have a problem, and he did again. So I wanted to shoot a video today showing what to do to keep those bolts from never coming out again. That's something I think everybody who owns a Jetta, who plans on doing any kind of maintenance work, repairs, or turbo swaps would need to know, especially if you're doing a KO4 or even a factory turbo. They just come loose. So I'm going to show you guys what to do. And I want to say thank you to somebody who's seeing this video for the first time and seeing my channel for the first time. I just like to let everybody know what Dave's World is about. I have a bunch of cars. I have a budget car collection, and I work on my own stuff because in order to own multiple vehicles, you have to save money somewhere, and maintenance is very expensive on cars, especially if you're using a mechanic. So I did a lot of work on my own. And I have a bunch of different projects that I'm doing. So if you found my channel, it might have been through the Jetta build, it might have been through my Cruze build. I'm in the middle of doing this wide body on my Corvette. I put up some motorcycle content, and I've been trying to do a video series on my VMAX. I have my Shelby Cobra. That's a $15,000 Shelby Cobra, and you know, there's content coming out explaining how I was able to do it so cheap and the kind of headaches I have with the car. So I just want to let everybody know that whenever I post something, if you're coming back to the channel for Jetta footage, there's going to be more coming out. You just have to give me time to film and edit. And in the meantime, I might be posting up the other cars because I'm also posting up stuff for other subscribers that want to see the other cars' content. So thank you again, and I appreciate everyone liking and subscribing. And now I'm going to go on to what we're going to do to fix this Jetta. This hopefully will be the last time I have to deal with loose bolts on this car. And I thought it was important to make this video because it's the biggest headache I've had so far on this turbo is these bolts coming loose. It literally just comes out of nowhere. You could be driving fine for a couple days and then boom, one day you lose all power and the exhaust gets loud. And if you're a Jetta owner who tinkers, you're probably used to having the same problem. So I'm going to show you what to do. I just wanted to give you a close-up on the product. This should work on factory Jetta exhaust manifolds, whether you're doing a KO4 or a KO3. You may or may not need 5 washers on each bolt, or you might need more, but that's the way I'm doing it. I just want to specify a little bit. KO4 or KO3 turbos will come loose, even if you're doing a factory turbo swap or a factory turbo replacement. It is a very common problem. Even if I did a KO3 swap on this car, I might still be dealing with loose bolts. Most likely I will be, and I would still be making this video today. So the next thing I'm going to do is let's get set up. I know I have a bunch of videos on YouTube showing how I did the swap. I may or may not put footage of me pulling this header out, but it needs to come out now. I might have to pull the down pipe to drop the turbo because there is a bolt underneath I can't get to easily. But for right now, let's get a move on getting this header out, and I want to start putting this manifold in. I did use a stainless gasket, so I would recommend getting new gaskets. Hopefully this gasket survived. If it didn't, I'm going to pause today, get a new gasket, and then I'll finish the video on another day. But I won't really know until I pull this apart. So first things first, let's get set up. All right, the first thing that has to come out is this intercooler pipe. I have another video on how to pull the intercooler pipe. I'll just put an info card and a link to the video in the description just in case you need to know how to do it. The next step for me is taking the header out. This doesn't necessarily have to happen for you because most likely you still have the factory exhaust manifold in. I'm just trying to get to the point where this manifold's in place so I can show you how this locking flange works. So for right now, I just want to get everything out of the way and get this header in place so I can show you what to do. All right, the next thing I want to do is drop the exhaust manifold in place. Okay, just like before, there are 13 nuts and washers that are holding this exhaust manifold in. And all of them need to be put on by feel. I'm not going to bore you guys with putting everyone in. I have an exhaust manifold video. Just check out the exhaust manifold video. At least for right now, I'm going to put them in and then I'll cut back when I'm in the middle of putting the locking tab in. Okay, so the header's installed. And the next thing I want to do is slip the gasket in place. Make sure it's the right direction. Okay, I had this thing flipped upside down by accident. I did say this was a little tricky, and it's definitely proven me right. Alright. Alright, the gasket seems to have stayed put. Now what I need to do is get the turbo into place, which it is loose. And if memory serves, I used the pry bar last time. It is way easier putting these in now than it was before, and I think I can use my electric ratchet. Oh, awesome. If you guys have been following along since the beginning, just by witnessing that shows how amazing this is compared to that header. Okay guys, as you know, I always keep the struggle in my videos. I wanted to show you something I had to do. This is such strong metal, I had to actually take a torch and heat these things up cherry red and then really hammer them over. I wanted to show you how. See how the metal right there looks nice and red? Once you get it nice and red, take something hard and hit this as hard as you can and really get it to peen over. This is what they should look like. You want to give the bolts no chance of being able to rotate. Okay, the engine's back together. The next thing I want to do is take you guys on a road test with me and see if we have any problems. I'm probably going to drive this car 4 or 5 times before my friend comes to pick it up again. But for today, we're going to drive it once just to see how the car reacts. Before, with the old header, I was getting a lot of ticking noises. My gut is telling me that it was because the gasket was bad, but at the same time, I don't know if that header caused the same problem. I'm hoping this time around it'll sound factory, but just have more power. And you know, you hear the blow-off valve while we're going. So I'm going to set you guys up so we can see how the car drives now. Okay, here we go. First startup with the new bolt locks and the new exhaust manifold. Car sounds good. Wow. I can't get over how much boost this thing produces with partial throttle. Okay, so I just got back with the Jetta, and it seems like whatever I do with this car, I pretty much have to work for the outcome I'm trying to get. So I was on the road test, and as you saw in the video, it started pouring really bad. I could barely see where I was going, but anyway, before that happened, the car was producing a lot of boost, actually more boost than before. There was definitely some sort of leakage happening with the old header, and I'm glad we have the cast iron manifold on the car with the locking bolts now. So far, so good. I'm going to take the car on a couple more road tests, hopefully before my friend comes get this car. If there's any more issues, I can get them all sorted before I give him the car back. There is one problem where it seems like the accessory, when you open the door up, the radio doesn't shut off, and I have to start researching that problem. If any of you Jetta guys know what it could be, please let me know. I always like to go over garage updates, so I'm kind of hiding in the car right now because it is pouring out. The Corvette, if you catch that build series, I have a really nice wide body coming. There was one I was trying to get on the car, but it just didn't fit right. It was a good build quality, but the way it was shaped didn't work right on the car. I have a 4.6 liter V8. It's a fuel injected modern engine that's going into a 65 Mustang. I'm going to be doing a bigger turbo on my Cruze. The Miata might be getting a supercharger. I may actually sell the Miata because I have an Equinox that I'm going to be putting a supercharger on, and I might want to take the funds and build that car because I'm more excited for the Equinox than the Miata. And then I have some other stuff coming up on the Jetta. I had to deal with a lot of oil leaks on this car, and I was thinking if maybe I'll produce a video on things I had to deal with solving the leak issues. Apparently anybody who has a Jetta is always dealing with leaks. And then yeah, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody supporting me. I really appreciate all the support, and please like and subscribe, and have a very nice day, everyone.